Yes.
Joseph, just borrowing from that, what then would be the impact of Raila Odinga's withdrawal from this election? Let's go to page 8 of the paper here. And we're seeing intense pressure even on the part of the electoral body, IEBC. It says here, IEBC split fears as Chebukati walks out of a critical meeting. And also say that Chebukati had introduced a proposal to change the date of the elections from October 26th to deliberate on the impact of Raila Odinga's withdrawal from the race, a proposal that was flatly rejected by all the other 6 commissioners. In your view, does the inclusion of the rest of what we're calling fringe candidates really lessen the impact of Raila Odinga's withdrawal from this election?
Let me not focus on these sideshows that I'm seeing here. IEBC split fears as Chebukati walks out of the critical meeting, because actually IEBC released a statement and they told Kenyans that elections are going to be held on 26th. And Raila is among the candidates in that election. One thing that we have to accept is this: elections in this country are going to be held in accordance with the law, but not in accordance with the certain terms of one player. You know, we are having a scenario where NASA side is having the irreducible minimums. Then the Jubilee side being, how can I call it, a clever side, they have used their numbers in parliament to pass the law. Because one thing that was very clear in this petition, the Supreme Court petition, is basically even the judgment from the Supreme Court comes at a point where it says that the fulcrum of this petition is based on the interpretation of Section 83 of the Elections Act.
Right.
So, one thing that you realize is that after everything, Jubilee decided that now let us go and amend the Elections Act. And my thinking is that, and a normal thinking of a normal Kenyan should be like, if NASA also have their demands, they should also bring their demands, because the parliament in this country is the one which has the mandate to amend, to make legislation.
And to make laws. What I want to understand, gentlemen, from all of this, because there's been different interpretations of the law, you know, depending on the lens at which you're really looking at the Constitution, so to speak. But does this solve the problem that we have as a country? Does Raila Odinga, not going to this election, does the country proceeding with this election as scheduled solve the problem we have in this country? We cannot run away from the fact that he is, as you mentioned earlier, a senior citizen, but also a senior politician in this country who commands a very large portion of this country, pretty much half the country. So let me hear from you, Javi. Does this really solve the problem for the Kenyans?
Legally, and I think my interpretation of the law is the one that can be taken to the Federal Bank of the United States, is this. The withdrawal by Raila Odinga means that there is no election on the 26th of October. And if anybody thinks he can proceed with that election, then he'll be proceeding on the basis that they do not want to comply with the law. And if any evidence is needed to confirm that, look at the statement that was posted by IEBC on its Twitter handle, indicating that they will have all the 8 candidates on the ballot. Yeah. First of all, that statement was not signed by Wafula Chebukati, a clear indicator that there is a possibility Wafula Chebukati has not authorized that position. And then fast forward, the meetings that were being held yesterday and the day before yesterday, it's quite evident that Wafula Chebukati did not have an active role in that in those meetings. And the evidence we have right now is that Wafula Chebukati had, in conformity with the position in law, put mechanisms to annul the election that had earlier on been scheduled on the 26th of October in compliance with the law. But certain individuals within the IEBC who are definitely being controlled by the Jubilee administration have torpedoed this otherwise legitimate claim. And I think if Chebukati is listening, I think the wise thing that he should do right now is just to resign, because he cannot as a senior lawyer, somebody with great knowledge and learning, participate in a facade that is intended to sanitize a dictatorial regime, which the people of Kenya have refused to participate in. You can take it without any fear of contradiction. A majority of Kenyans who are keen on ensuring that we have change will not participate in any sham that may take place on the 26th of August.
All right, so we'll be discussing